big week. I had some training with Jackson for Jackson's schooling, and we started wearing masks everywhere this week because the city requires it. That's what my mask says. And the kids and I started playing tennis. I found out Jackson's as bad at tennis as I am, so that's fun. I'm just trying to soak in the last little bits of summer before we start schooling again. And it's been fun to try to spend all the time outside as we can and just enjoy the last little bit. Nathan and I have been reading this book that somebody gave us, somebody that we've known, that we have only known through this process, asked us to read her book that she was writing before it got published and give her some feedback. And it's a book on intimacy. And so we finished that book up this week and really loved it. Actually, tonight we had a dinner with her to kind of give her some thoughts and her feedback. And I loved the book, and we had some great time with them of making sushi and talking and discussing marriage. And I'm so energized by that because it was with another couple as well. And we just got to sit and talk about marriage and intimacy and the amazing things that God can do in our lives and his desire for us to always go deeper. And I just really love that. It's always good to remember that and to press into that. So I was thankful that we got to read that book, and I thought of so many people I think that would get a lot out of it. So that was fun. I remember last week in my diary, I was talking about my frustration with the Lord and trusting him, and with losing my job and then Nathan's car going out, and that frustration. And that frustration is still there, if I'm totally honest, and that lack of trust still remains. Maybe not as much as it was last week, but this week I was driving and talking to God about everything and how frustrated I was. And so clearly, which I love, that those moments, even when they're hard, I love those moments where I know it's God speaking and I hear those words so clearly. But I heard him say, Andrea, my economy is not about dollars and cents. My economy is so much more than this, so get your head out of your bank account. And it was like, okay, God, I just need to stop thinking about the money. I need to stop thinking about what's going to happen and how's this going to get taken care of, and what is my bank account going to look like at the end of this, and realize God has so much more for my life than the dollars that add up at the end of the day. And so that's what I need to press into. That's what my thoughts need to go to. That's what my prayers need to be about. Yes, it's fine for me to want to have money in my bank account and pray about those things. But really where my heart should be, really where my value, where I put value in, what I put value in should be in what the Lord is calling me to, and his call in my life. So that was a really amazing word from the Lord that I loved, and it's carried me through this whole week.
Dear Journal, I finally narrowed down what I want to get for a tattoo. Not to a specific thing, but sort of to an idea. So this week, I had the joy of shopping for a used car, which is almost my favorite thing to do. If I weren't spending time getting bamboo shoots stuffed under my fingernails or having my eyelids ripped out, other than that, I love shopping for used cars. The people, they're just so genuine and definitely not manipulative. It's just great. So fortunately, years ago, Al Gore invented this thing called the internet, where you can shop for a car without having to deal with any of those filthy human beings. So I got online, I narrowed it down to a few cars, and fortunately have a friend in the industry who was able to offer me some really fantastic advice and kind of walk me through the process. I didn't end up buying a car from him, so maybe he's an ex-friend of mine, sorry. But he was super helpful and super kind. But one thing I noticed was, so there is a mask mandate. So basically the gig is you either wear a mask or stay in a place where you can guarantee you're going to have 6 feet of separation from other people, or I think you go directly to the electric chair, I think is what happens. So we have this mandate thing happening. So I pull up into this used car parking lot, the dealership I ended up actually buying our car from, Honda Civic, go Team Civic. So I pull up and I get out of the car, and you can see the salespeople coming. So I'm just kind of looking around, checking out the deal. And there are people, they all have their masks. There used to be a time when wearing a ski mask around a place like a used car dealership would be frowned upon. Not anymore. Now it's like, man, you wear ski masks into banks, around used car dealerships, you've never been more woke than when you have worn a mask in a previously inappropriate place. So, I wasn't wearing a mask. In an effort to tell the used car salesman I want at least 6 feet of separation between you and me at all times. So I walk in, and these guys all have their masks down around their neck, right? And they can pull them up when they want to. And as they're walking out, I can see them sizing up. Okay, this guy I'm walking out towards, do I put the mask on or do I not? Because above all else, the rule in used car sales is immediately endear yourself to whoever this person is. So, I'm not kidding you, the two guys walk out and they split. One went to me and one went to another gentleman who was looking at cars. He was wearing a mask, I wasn't wearing a mask. The guy that walks up to the other gentleman with the mask on, he puts his mask on 20 steps before he gets there, stays 10 plus feet away from this guy, and act like the two of them both had the plague. The other guy walks up to me, doesn't bother putting his mask on, gives me a handshake that ends up in like a half bro hug before we start looking at this used car. And to tie it back to the tattoo thing, in that moment I thought, this is what hypocrisy looks like. This is what it means. And I'm not picking on those two guys because it wasn't about those guys, it was really about me. Right? How often do I size up the person I'm about to go talk to in an effort to determine what kind of Nathan should I be when I go up and meet this person? I've said before, a big impactor in my life is the saying, to be and not to seem. That's the tattoo I'm getting. I don't know exactly what it's going to look like. I don't know exactly where it's going to be. The bad news is my canvas keeps getting larger, so I probably need to stop that. So I don't know exactly what that's going to look like, but That's the tattoo I'm getting. Something about to be and not to seem wrapped into some sort of hardcore imagery that's going to look amazing. You can imagine what it'll be like. To be and not to seem. That's what I'm thinking about this week.